Shall we look at the forwards?
Yes.
Now, in the forward category, it's not going to come as a surprise who number one is it, Jules?
No, Kylian Mbappe.
Obviously, Kylian Mbappe, obviously tremendous season. I think there's a gap, too, between Kylian Mbappe and the others on this list. Because, looking at the list, we have VINICIUS in second, Lionel Messi in third, and Mohamed Salah. Mbappe is well ahead of them all round, yeah?
Yeah, the age, the 54 goals in 54 appearances in all competitions for club and country in the season. What he did at the World Cup, okay, in the end, he lost it, so he would not care so much, but still to score 8 goals, to do what he did in the final, the maturity that he's showing, and you might like or not his personality, I completely understand. But however, this is also why he's so good, because that drive and ambition that he had since a very young age made him the number one, and rightly so, on our list.
Our voters put Lionel Messi at third, and I know the Messi army is going to be up in arms because they're going to point out that Messi won something called the World Cup, but this is where I refer you back to the criteria.
Exactly.
It's not about the trophies you were. It's about what you are producing, what you're producing week in, week out, and how the voters see you, and they have him behind VINICIUS. You're okay with that?
Yeah, completely. He's still very, very good, and he's the GOAT. But right now, where at this stage of his career and where he is, he's, I think, third, and some might even think that he's lucky to be third.
Looking at the list, I did wonder whether my boy Rafael LEAO shouldn't be a little bit higher on the list, perhaps. Maybe, certainly, he's somebody who I expect to be higher in years to come. Christopher NKUNKU, I think, no doubt, penalized by his injuries this year, missing the World Cup, missing a chunk of the season for Leipzig. Maybe they would have won the title if he'd been there.
Maybe, exactly. Marcus Rashford at 6 in a season where finally, with the structure given by Ten Hag, a purpose even to his own game, Rashford showed up, delivered. He was, I think, the second half of the season after the World Cup, he had some injuries. He was not at his best. Still really put some goals in and everything, carried that team. So a very interesting season in terms of maturity as well for him.
I think you're hitting on the head there, sort of in terms of carrying the team, because as we move into other categories, we're going to see there's a ton of Manchester City players. That is an outstanding team. I think it speaks to a different situation if you're on a team that is struggling. And this applies to Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. Liverpool obviously up and down much of the season. Antoine Griezmann, horrendous. Atletico, certainly horrendous in the first part of the season. Rashford, United, the uncertainty, Ronaldo, all this stuff. And you can produce at that high level. It's obviously more difficult to do when you've got a great manager, great players around you. And, it's much more plug and play. But I got to ask you about the guy who just sneaks in number 10.
Just about.
Neymar. Now, I had him, I think, a tad higher on my list just because I followed the criteria. The ability is still there.
Incredible talent.
But when for 5 years, we've had the injuries, we've had the chaos, we had the controversy. I mean, can you come back, move up this list?
Yeah, I think he can. He's still only 31. I mean, I know 31 is not young and he's closer to the end of his career than to the beginning. But because he's so talented, he's really good. He's amazing. And we saw that at times in the first part of the season. We saw that at times last season. We've seen at times not enough in those 6 years in Paris. But for where he is, for where his mindset is, I think 10th is just about okay for him because the talent is there. But for what he's ready to give you, I think this is fair. There's potential, of course, to be higher, but he could also disappear completely if he can't stay fit or if he can go back to what has made him so special for many years.
And that is one of the things about this sport that we love, football, that it's not just about talent. There's an athletic component. There's a mental component.
Very true.
In fact, I was while you were talking, you're talking about his talent, and I said, okay, just purely in terms of technical ability, if you look at this list, who is more technically gifted than Neymar? Messi, obviously.
Of course,
And then?
And then I don't think there's anybody. I think the rest, I think Vini could be close. I think Kylian.
Oh, I think Vini's technical ability. I think I think Vini's far behind in terms of technical ability.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like
in terms of technical ability, for me, obviously it's Messi, Neymar. I think you'd be looking at Griezmann, you'd be looking at LEAO, you'd be looking at those guys even ahead of VINICIUS.
I don't know. I still think VINICIUS technically is a phenomenon.
All right. That's a different list. That's a different FC 100. We digressed on this one. Again, feel free to agree and disagree. We disagree with a lot of this list as well. It's okay.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.